Welcome into Three Questions with Ivan Maisel, where Ivan brings his insight on all things college football to us on a weekly basis. Ivan, a big one for the Vols and the Tigers. Tennessee going to Death Valley this week. It's going to be a very telling game for the SEC East, but what are your original thoughts on LSU as they prepare for Tennessee?
I'm surprised by LSU, JD. They're playing better than I thought, and it's a good reminder that the record was mediocre the last 2 years, but the talent wasn't. This is a good team, and it's amazing what happens when you give good talent a good coach, which they now have. They're playing great defense, and offense needs a little work, but the defense has been critical.
It's never been a matter at LSU of talent, it seems like the access talent they have, and the guy that they have playing quarterback is a little bit more experienced. They have a lot of good things going for them right now at LSU, but one of the concerns, you mentioned it, the offense has been kind of like molasses to get going. Brian Kelly said just straight up, we need to coach better. I don't think that's too far off base, but in your assessment, what needs to change about this offense to get off to a quicker start and ultimately score more points?
Well, right now, we're almost halfway through the season, and there really hasn't been a downfield passing game. They're only getting 7 yards per attempt. Boutte, who we all thought would blossom and has been a good receiver in the past, is just not found. He's not played well this year. His issues, whether it's between his ears or whatever it is, what's going on with him, nobody knows. But really, Malik Neighbors has been decent. Chris Hilton, the young receivers, had his moments, but overall, they're just not getting the ball downfield. And if they can, that just opens up so much more.
It's sort of this mix for me of they can't get the ball downfield and they won't get the ball downfield. Like Jayden Daniels threw for 80 yards last week against Auburn. Of his 8 completions, 5 of those were to a running back or a tight end. And you got these race horses on the outside, most notably Kayshon Boutte, like you mentioned. Try at least to fit the ball downfield to him, at least take a shot, because if they want to just sort of hang back in this game and sort of get down by 10 to 14 points, it's going to be really hard to play catch-up with a team like Tennessee. No disrespect to the other programs that LSU has played, but this is a whole new beast in Hendon Hooker in that offense. So we'll see what happens there, but I agree with you. Something needs to change. So with the way this game could shake out, obviously year one under Brian Kelly and the dynamic offense that Tennessee is bringing to Death Valley, let's just say this thing does sort of get out of hand. There's been some culture question marks in my mind with Kayshon Boutte kind of scrubbing his Instagram and just the things that sort of have been dormant but may show themselves if you end up losing more games. And they've won a lot recently, but in your mind, does a loss in this game for LSU bring about more culture issues?
I don't think so. JD, Brian Kelly's a good coach, and he's been around a long time. He's won for 30 years. It reminds me of Bear Bryant saying, yeah, we have disenchantment in the locker room and I'm causing it. So if Brian Kelly, my concern with them is not culture. If the players can't win under a winning coach, then he'll go get other players. I don't have a concern about that. I think the larger concerns are just him getting comfortable and getting the players comfortable in what it is that he wants them to do.
No, without question. I think you said it perfectly. Brian Kelly is what is going to be right about LSU in the future, meaning they got the right guy at head coach. They're going to be okay as this thing wears on into the Brian Kelly era, but we'll see. I'm very, very fascinated to see how they would respond if it does get out of hand against Tennessee. And there's not saying it will or it won't, but if it did get ugly, I think we'll learn a lot about LSU if they do get squeezed like that. But going to the game itself, is there a side that you like in this game when it comes to Tennessee and LSU? It's a pretty close line, but is there a team that you like more or less in this game?
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning toward LSU just between the defense and the home team, and I don't think Tennessee has seen this kind of defense. They're playing with a week off, which is a huge advantage, but LSU will figure out a way.
It's going to be a fun one, but you hit it on the head. In Death Valley, weird things happen in Death Valley, be a ruckus environment. I heard they already sold it out. I know it's an 11 a.m. kick, but still to have a sellout at that time, I guess you get why when you got Tennessee coming to town, but will be a lot of fun to watch. Well, Ivan, where are you this week? I know you're probably hitting the road, but where are you headed to?
I am going to Texas A&M and Alabama, and I know that game's at night. I don't know why I think Tennessee and LSU is, but so excuse the brain cramp.
No,
but,
you're good.
I'll be at yeah.
No, that'll be phenomenal. I mean, that'll be one where no shortage of storylines, but I'm sure there'll be a fair amount of those as well in Tennessee, LSU. Well, Ivan, as always, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you bringing your insight. Folks, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. Follow Ivan on Twitter to stay up with every single thing that we're doing here. Ivan, thanks again. Enjoy your college football Saturday. Hey, y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.